Well, I want to thank you, Council Member Carl Demaio, for being here, and I want to get right to it, where you stand on the 10th Avenue Marine Terminal. So we know the future of the terminal has been discussed lately. There's a Doug Manchester, a John Lynch plan to build a new Charger Stadium at the site. Do you support their plan?
I don't. I believe that we should start first with maximizing the cargo and the economic activity at the existing terminal. You know, the port's an important part of San Diego's regional economy, and I want to see how we can better promote and invest in that part of our economy to create jobs. You can put a Charger Stadium anywhere. You cannot put a deep water terminal anywhere, and that's what we have at 10th Avenue, a deep water port, and the commerce, the jobs that goes along with that. It's so important to the future of our economy.
Have you ever discussed the plan with John Lynch or Doug Manchester?
Well, I was briefed on it early on, but other than saying that my priority was to make sure that we could start by looking at the port and maximizing its economic potential, we really haven't talked about it since, and that was,
so
I think about a year ago.
Maximizing its economic potential. So do you have a caveat there that if the port can't do more than it's doing? Because I know there's a lot of discussion about economic activity at the port. So, because I also read an article where you were quoted as saying, you know, that you get to pick 3 commissioners and you want to make sure that this port is operating the way it should be. So if you find out they're not making the kind of money you expect it should be, does that mean you'd look at other uses for the port?
I'm confident that we are going to be able to reposition the port so that we can maximize job creation, bring a lot more cargo and commerce through San Diego. I'm really excited about the manufacturing that's going on in Baja California. They're not taking advantage of our port as much as they can. We also have agriculture as the 5th largest economy here in San Diego County. Most people don't know that. And yet we ship so much of our produce through Long Beach with all the air quality impacts that goes along with that. So I'm looking at a number of niche cargo that I believe right off the bat we can start shipping through our port if we are aligned, if we are investing in the right strategies.
Right.
Our port commissioners are going to be important to carry that forward, and that's why those appointments are so important.
You also mentioned you did speak with Doug Manchester about this. You were briefed about it. I know on January 18th you were also scheduled to meet with Doug Manchester's consultant, Perry Daly. What did you talk about?
I would have to go back and try to remember, but Perry actually works on a number of projects throughout the city, and when they have problems with the city bureaucracy that they can't get answers, we always listen to our businesses and say, how can we help get investment going? So I would imagine it was probably on a number of projects that he works on.
You've had a relationship with Doug Manchester and John Lynch for many years. Beginning in 2004, you formed a political committee, San Diego Citizens for Accountable Government. I know you put out some of these flyers. They probably look familiar to you. The committee was funded by you, Doug Manchester, and John Lynch. They also endorsed you on the front page of the paper. For people at home who see that connection and that history, how do you tell them that you won't be influenced by Doug Manchester or John Lynch and their #1 priority, which is to build a stadium at that site?
Well, it's certainly, I think, easy to tell because it's not my agenda. Their proposal is something certainly that's creative, but it's not something that I support. I want to start first by maximizing that site. Second, I was proud of the fact that I worked with many San Diegans, including Doug Manchester and John Lynch, to defeat a massive tax increase in 2004. At a time when politicians are trying to sweep our financial problems under the rug, we stood for reform, and that helped us start the whole reform movement here in San Diego.
But they were the only 2 who actually funded, along with yourself, your group.
Right. Well, I think there were a number of donors to the whole effort.
Well, I actually think they were the major donors, and we actually have a copy of that. I think it was $138,000 from Doug Manchester's companies, and also John Lynch gave you, I think, about $38,000 in free airtime, and then it was the Performance Institute. So I think it was only the 3 entities.
And if you take a look at the San Diego Citizens for Accountable Government over the entire period of time, many people stepped forward to help us advance our reform agenda. It helped us pass managed competition in 2006. It helped us defeat the sales tax in 2010. That committee went on to help us with pension reform in 2012. And thousands of San Diegans stepped forward to help us with our reforms. So at the end of the day, I'm pleased to be uniting San Diegans from different
Right.
walks of life. Mr. Manchester and I obviously share different views on a number of issues, but what I'm trying to do is unite San Diegans behind fiscal reform, economic prosperity, and getting our city government moving again.
I want to ask you one more thing,
yeah.
though, because we're running out of time, and this all pertains to whether or not you support this stadium. We also obtained an email. This is from August 10th, and it was written by John Lynch to one of the Port Commissioners. And in it, he says he has the support of one of the mayoral candidates for this plan, this stadium. That's not you?
Not for the 10th Avenue terminal. I've been very consistent about that you can put a stadium anywhere. You can't put a deep water port anywhere.
Do you think
and
it's
so
Bob
we have
Filner,
a unique,
though? I mean, do you think...
Well, you'd have to ask Mr. Filner.
So
but
it's either you or
to-
Bob Filner, or John Lynch isn't being completely upfront.
I think you could probably ask Mr. Filner. But at the end of the day, my position has been clear. We need to maximize the port. I published my Pathway to Prosperity jobs plan, which includes my entire port strategy, after this proposal came out last year. I actually believe that the number of businesses and economic sectors that have opportunities to ship through 10th Avenue Terminal are so great that at the end of the day, we will be able to show how that can be an economic driver for our region, and that's continuing to be my focus.
I'm going to have to leave it there. Councilmember Carl Demaio, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much.